Dear students, in this video we will read 8th class English book Honeydew, poem number 6, The Duck and the Kangaroo. And this is a wonderful example of Lear's best poetry. The poet wrote this poem with young audience in his mind, and the theme he explored are friendship, compromise, and adventure. The poet expresses an amusing relationship between two very different creatures. Throughout the poem, the duck praises the kangaroo for his ability to hop. मतलब इस पोइम ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ जो डक आ ਉਹ कैंगरू ਦੀ प्रेज करती है दैट ही कैन हॉप मतलब जंप कर सकता हो एंड द डक इज़ ऑल्सो जेलस ऑफ हिज लाइफ एंड इज़ सीकिंग आउट सिमिलर एडवेंचर्स एंड जो डक है मतलब ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਬੋਰਿੰਗ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਕੈਂਗਰੂ ਦੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਡਵੈਂਚਰਸ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ and by the end the duck has convinced the kangaroo that it is a good idea for him to ride on his back and travel the world with him. And the story ends happily with the two joyously spending time together. So let's get started with the poem. Said the duck to the kangaroo, good gracious, how you hop over the fields and water too, as if you never would stop. And my life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hop like you, said the duck to the kangaroo. Now, in the first stanza, the poet begins with the words of a duck. And he speaks to another character, the kangaroo, with full excitement. Now, in these lines, the duck praises the kangaroo for its ability to hop without stopping. He can hop over the fields, over the water, and it seems that he would never stop his hopping, he would never stop his jumping. And he also said that my life is totally bored in the pond. And it called the pond nasty, that means dirty. And the duck calls his life boring as it remained in the pond all the time. And it wished to see the world beyond the limits of this pond. And it wishes that it could also hop like the kangaroo so that he can see the world, so that it can do the adventures. In stanza 2, please give me a ride on your back, said the duck to the kangaroo. I would sit quite still and say nothing but quack the whole of the long day through, and we would go to the Dee and the Jelly Bowl over the land and over the sea. Please take me a ride, oh do, said the duck to the kangaroo. Now in these lines, the duck requests the kangaroo to give it a ride on its back. And quack mean the sound made by the duck. Okay, and it promised that it would sit quietly, means bilkul quiet, shanti nal baithegi, and would just quack all day. The duck list the places that they would visit as Dee and Jelly Boli, matlab ina places nu visit karange. And it also adds that they would hop over the land and the sea. And then poet repeats the same line said by the duck to the kangaroo, that please take me a ride, and said the duck to the kangaroo. Now in the third stanza, said the kangaroo to the duck, this requires some little reflection. Perhaps on the whole it might bring me luck, and these seems with one objection, which is if you will let me speak so bold, your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold, and will probably give me the rheumatiz, said the kangaroo. Now the kangaroo replies to duck, this requires some little reflection. In this line, reflection means thought. That means the kangaroo said that he had to think over it. Perhaps on whole it might bring me luck. He said that your idea could be good for me. Okay, कि तेरा idea जो मतलब मेरे लिए good हो सकता है. And there seems but one objection, but I had an objection. ठीक है, मतलब एक objection एक दिक्कत आ that your feet are extremely wet and cold. And because of your cold feet, I can suffer from rheumatism. And this is a kind of disease मतलब ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ body ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ joints ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ bones ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ pain ਹੋਣੀ start ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. So in this stanza, kangaroo replies to duck that your idea can be good for me, and I can also suffer from your wet and cold feet. In a stranger 4, said the duck, as I sat on the rocks. I have thought over that completely, and I bought 4 pairs of worsted socks which fit my bab feet neatly. And to keep out the cold, I have bought a cloak, and every day a cigar I'll smoke, all to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. Now, Duck says that I have thought over that completely. Duck said that it sat on the rocks during the day and it had thought over it. मतलब वो already इस बारे सोच चुकी है. And she said that in order to avoid that, the duck had bought 4 pairs of worsted socks. Worsted sock means the cloth which is very fine and smooth. That mean he had bought smooth socks which fitted its bab shaped feet well. And in order to stay warm, it would wear a shrug also and smoke a cigar every day to keep its body warm. And the duck would do all this to protect the kangaroo as it was a beloved. Now, in this stanza, the duck replies to the kangaroo that it had already thought about the problem and it will do all possible things to protect the kangaroo. Said the kangaroo, I'm ready, all in the moonlight pale, but to balance me well, dear duck, sit steady and quiet at the end of my tail. So away they went with a hop and a bound, and they hopped the whole world 3 times round. And who so happy? Oh, who? Asked the duck and the kangaroo. In the first line, the kangaroo said that I'm ready, all in the moonlight pale means now the kangaroo was satisfied with the duck's response and got ready for the right and said that at night when the sky was filled with the pale means yellowish light of the moon, they started their trip with a hop, that means with a jump. And the kangaroo asked the duck to hold it firmly, and they traveled around the world 3 times, and both of them enjoyed each other's company. So, it was all about this beautiful poem, and I hope you understood it.